what large cap altcoins can outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin. And right now, I think Chainlink has that opportunity. Funds are flowing from Bitcoin to altcoins, but large cap altcoins. Returns are in altcoins. Altcoins have cooled off a little bit. There has been a correction, but Chainlink is leading the way. It's been bullish since July 9th at $15. So it's gone from $15 to slightly over $27. Right? So Chainlink will be receiving revenues both on-chain and off-chain. On-chain, they'll be receiving revenues for the entire products and ecosystem in both stablecoins, the Link token, Bitcoin, and ETH, and off-chain revenue in terms of just fiat. And basically, they'll take all these fees, aggregate them onto a single chain, and then they have payment conversion to the Link token. Right? So they take all this money they're getting from all these big institutions they're working with. Pretty much almost every big blue chip project is using Chainlink in some capacity. From Aave to Jupiter, Camino, Lido, GMX, Pendle, and Compound. If you go to TradFi, banks and institutions love Chainlink. Chainlink is at about $27. It's the 13th biggest crypto project in the world based on total market cap. And as we see here on our platform, it is a strong buy. Hey, tokenomics family, Ian Billionaire here, back at it again with another price prediction, this time of the OG blue chip Oracle project, Chainlink. Why is Chainlink pumping? How high can Chainlink go? I'll give you a realistic price prediction using our AI platform and our analytics, and also recent developments, recent fundamental catalysts, why Chainlink is poised to have a breakout run this cycle. Let's get straight into it. All right, so first things first, where is Chainlink currently? Currently, Chainlink is at about $27. It's the 13th biggest crypto project in the world based on total market cap. And as we see here on our platform, it is a strong buy. Not financial advice, it is a strong buy, and it is holding steady, especially if we factor in that our market indicator turned bearish on August 18th. At slightly under 4 trillion total crypto market cap. The bull and bear gauge is in the middle, but the funds are flowing from Bitcoin to altcoins, but large cap altcoins, especially blue chip ones. Because if you come here to the tokenomics Bitcoin versus altcoin season indicator, which shows the returns of Bitcoin versus altcoins, we can see Bitcoin bottomed, or altcoins bottomed at about July 10th. About 10% of returns were in altcoins and 90% was in Bitcoin. But over the last month and a half, we can see it's been slowly going up. And typically when it crosses 57%, that's a good time to take profits, to trim profits, take some money off the table, sell a quarter or so of whatever you have in altcoins. And guess what? That happened recently. That's why our AI indicator flipped bearish. But even though the market is bearish, that means we go from being risk on to risk off. There's still some trades in the market we can snipe, right? Because in a bull market, when everything's frothy, everything's going up, you can pretty much just spray and shoot. But in a time like this, you have to be a sniper. You have to be a professional in terms of finding the right trades at the right time. So what this tells me is returns are in altcoins. Altcoins have cooled off a little bit. There has been a correction, but Chainlink is leading the way. If you go to trading token at tokenomics, going to our ratings page, this is one of the best pages on our platform because you have to trade the narrative. You have to trade the attention. And once you have the attention and the narrative, you have to find the best trades. So rather than going through thousands of tokens, we give you just 15 tokens that are trending, and then we sort them based on the highest tokenomics grade. So it's basically spoon-feeding you the alpha very quickly. And guess what? All these are 3 tokens we've covered before, Aerodrome, Chainlink, and Bio. But today we're doing a deep dive on Chainlink. So if you just click on it at tokenomics, we can see here, it's been bullish since July 9th at $15. So it's gone from $15 to slightly over $27. Now, Chainlink is large cap. This is not a moonshot. This is not going to do 100x anytime soon. But in a time like this, it's a good store of value, right? When Bitcoin is cooling off, when Ethereum is cooling off, and then now going back up again, it's up 14% today. But in times like this, you want to hold blue chip stores of values. So what large cap altcoins can outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin? And right now, I think Chainlink has that opportunity. So if we go to the price prediction here, everything is checking out, right? The market is cooling off. Bitcoin has cooled off. Ethereum is going up. Chainlink is going up. Oh, Chainlink is rather heating up. Now, I've mentioned before, I think the market this cycle will peak anywhere from 8 to 14 trillion total crypto market cap based on just looking at historical data. If you just go to TradingView, look at the total crypto market cap. I have an entire video that went viral about this. But basically, I think it's going to be 8 to 14 trillion. So the cool thing is with a platform here, every token, if it's liquid enough, has a price prediction, right? So if the crypto market as a whole goes to 8 trillion total crypto market cap, Chainlink will go from $27, and we give you 3 different ranges, right? So the bear case, which is improbable, but if a black swan happens, if the market just doesn't like Chainlink, how high can it go? $36. That's about a 30% return. Not much, to be honest. If the market goes to the base case, and the moon case is about an 80% return. And you know what? That's actually pretty low. right? So, because Chainlink has kind of been dormant for a while. So this is one of the few rare opportunities I'll give you both. I'll say, think of this kind of like more the bear case, right? Because Chainlink is an OG project. I was an early investor in the private sale. I sold, unfortunately. I didn't hold too long. I sold right before the 2018 bear market. I mean, like a 5 or 10x. And the rest is history. I know the Blink Marines kind of roasted me. But if we just go back here to the price prediction. So let's say, you know what, you think 8 trillion is just too bearish. Right? Let's say you're a Link Marine, you think to the moon and beyond. Let's say the crypto market cap as a whole goes to 16 trillion. And let's say maybe just Chainlink, right? Let's get even more ambitious with our price prediction. How high can it go if we get more ambitious? Well, right now we could say, you know what? What's possible is 115% return on Chainlink this cycle. So basically between spring to fall 2026. So Chainlink to basically $60. So basically a 1x. A base case, about 190%, almost a 2x. So in essence, Chainlink to $80. And then a moon case, basically making 2.5x, Chainlink to $100. So I'm giving you basically the very, very bullish scenario, right? Chainlink could go as high as $100. Or if you want to be a little more bearish, because to be fair, my base case for this cycle, for the whole crypto market cap, is about 12 trillion total crypto market cap, right? 8 being the bear, 14 being bullish and above. So you could say 10 to 12. So I would say somewhere in the middle, right? So if we just kind of combine the two, right? Let's say 12 trillion market cap. The base for this is about $40 and the base for this is about $80. I would say you're looking at about $60 for Chainlink as a base case scenario. But that's not too bad. Now, why is it so conservative? Well, I told you this is going to be a realistic prediction. We're not here to tell you everything's going to the moon and beyond, right? Because historically speaking, just look at Chainlink. If we zoom out here, Chainlink has not passed its prior all-time high. Back in 2021, Chainlink went to over $40 basically, right? It went to about $50. What's the all-time high here? All-time high of Chainlink was $52. So right now it is about 55% down from all-time high. This is why we love our price prediction, right? This is, yes, we are new to making videos, but we're not just some influencer or KOL trying to make a hype video. This is a realistic video, right? And just looking at the price, Chainlink is still down from its all-time high. And our price prediction models factor in both past historical performance, the all-time high, the sector performance. But let's say Chainlink is about to break out and do new numbers and go past this all-time high, right? Let's say Chainlink goes to $80 or even $100. How can that happen? What would be the fundamental catalysts of that? And I'll give you a few different reasons how that could happen. First off, hey, crypto family, quick announcement. Sorry to interrupt. Just want to give you a quick download on what tokenomics is about and how it can help you build wealth in crypto. We build tokenomics by scouring thousands and thousands of tokens and data, market data, on-chain data, putting it into an AI and having the AI give two things. One, trading signals on whether or not to trade the token, when to enter or get out of the token. And two, a scale or gauge on how bearish or bullish we are on that particular token. This has changed people who trade in crypto. Think of us as kind of like your GPS in crypto. And guess what? We also have our own token. And we have a lot of stuff in store. We've launched Tokenomics DAO, a for-profit revenue sharing DAO that shares revenue to stakers. We launched staking. We also launched our Web and X agent that takes all of our analysis and you can talk to it via Twitter or via our website. And we launched our Tokenomics API for developers and quants who want to build using our data. And we have some cool stuff coming up in wave 2 of our roadmap. We're launching AI indices. This is the holy grail people have been asking for. On-chain, non-custodial, tokenized vaults for cross-chain trading in crypto. Take all of our signals and imagine being able to buy a basket of maybe 50 to 100 tokens, like Tokenomics 100 or Tokenomics 50, or the AI indices, being able to buy those indices on-chain and have it rebalance for you. Cannot wait for you guys to try this out, but this is the holy grail. We're building the vanguard for crypto that's AI driven, powered by our TMAI token. A lot is in store for Tokenomics from both our analytics platform, the upcoming AI indices, and our API. And being part of the community with TMAI gives you the power and the keys to all of this, to the moon and beyond. Chainlink just announced a new and improved token buyback program. What does that mean? That means ever since Chainlink launched, the token, to be honest, was a little weak. The tokenomics were a little weak, right? You could use the Link token to power or pay for the oracles, but now Chainlink has a much, much bigger vision, right? So I want to kind of dive into that, right? But before we do, in terms of market dominance, Chainlink has just been blue chip all the way. They were literally the first premier oracle, and they own about 2/3 of the market. They own almost 62% of the oracle market. Other oracles out there include Chainlink as number one, 2/3 of the market. You have Chronicle. Now, this I haven't really heard much, but it seems to be doing a lot of numbers, almost 9 billion in TVL. You have internal. I'm guessing these are just people doing their own internal oracles. And Redstone. I heard great things about Redstone. That's a different story. And Pith. But how big, if we just kind of go through why Chainlink is moving this week, we'll start with this, right? So this is an image showing basically the new Chainlink network value flow, right? So Chainlink will be receiving revenues both on-chain and off-chain. On-chain, they'll be receiving revenues for the entire products and ecosystem in both stablecoins, the Link token, Bitcoin, and ETH, and off-chain revenue in terms of just fiat. And basically, they'll take all these fees, aggregate them onto a single chain, and then they have payment conversion to the Link token. Right, so they take all this money they're getting from all these big institutions they're working with that I'll cover later. They'll sell them on DEXs, what have you, convert this into the Link token, and then create a Chainlink reserve. Right, they're creating on-chain strategic Link reserve. So this is great for the token. Chainlink has been making a lot of money. They've been around for a while. They have big companies like JP Morgan and all the big blue chip products using it. So now they've created a better tokenomic model to have the value accrue to the token. And then they can pay providers in the Link token. So this is why it's pumping. But I mentioned about the Chainlink ecosystem, and it is blue chip all the way. So if we go back here, this is an example of the Chainlink stack. Right? If we start at in DeFi, pretty much almost every big blue chip project is using Chainlink in some capacity. From Aave to Jupiter, Camino, Lido, GMX, Pendle, and Compound. If you go to TradFi, banks and institutions love Chainlink. From Swift to JP Morgan to UBS to MasterCard. So all these, right? And down here shows you all the different products. They get pretty technical. We won't cover that too much here. But this shows you the ecosystem they're getting all this revenue now, both on-chain and off-chain. And they've updated the tokenomics to have the value accrue to the Link token. They're creating a buyback reserve for the Link token. So basically, numbers could probably go up. But then also just looking at the three megatrends, the three tailwinds Link or Chainlink is riding on. One, tokenization. About 16 trillion of assets are estimated to be tokenized by 2030. You have stablecoins, almost 4 trillion estimated by 2030. And then you have payments and settlements. But that we kind of already knew. And then one of the things also powering Chainlink is their on-chain data protocol. And now they have a lot of products to use, but Chainlink has become not just an oracle now, it's become basically a platform to unify data and assets cross-chain, right? So there's Chainlink CCP, Chainlink ODP, but just looking purely at the numbers, there has been growth and traction in Chainlink consistently. So this is their on-chain metrics dashboard that shows in total more than 25 trillion in assets transacted on Chainlink over time. Ever since this chart is from January 2022 to now, right, to August 2025. So the cumulative monetary value of the assets being transacted through Chainlink is tremendous, but that's cumulative. But we can also see the total value secured. So all those protocols I just mentioned, Aave, Pendo, and others, Chainlink secures almost 94 billion in total assets. Think about that. Like even tokenomics, even with TMAI token, we're using Chainlink as well. But Chainlink is one of those products that's not going away anytime soon. If anything, this is a great fundamental catalyst that now gives their token some actual value. All right, so we'll keep this quick, but that's basically our price prediction for Chainlink. So quick recap, looking at the data. Chainlink first has to go past its prior all-time high, which was $53, we'll say. Once that happens, the sky's the limit. Then basically it's in price discovery. We have Bitcoin go past its all-time high, and now it's in price discovery. Same thing happened with Ethereum, or Ethereum's kind of pushing on its past all-time high. And then so Ethereum's about to pass its all-time high. So Ethereum's last all-time high was about 4,878, according to this, which was 4 years ago. And right now it's at 4,819, right? So Chainlink is probably next because capital goes from Bitcoin to large caps like ETH and Sol, then to other large caps like Chainlink and others we've covered like Aerodrome and so on, and then eventually altcoins. So we might be heading into the altcoin season we've all been waiting for. I've said this before, this will be the biggest altcoin season of all time. Like it has to be historically, right? Maybe not quite like people who were in altcoins back when Bitcoin just launched, but back then it was just Bitcoin. But I think in terms of total crypto market cap, it's going to be the biggest of all time. Let me know what you think. How high can Chainlink go? Looking at the data, once it goes past this all-time high, it can go anywhere from $60 to $100, right? So do you think Chainlink can go to $100? Let us know down below in the comments. And as we like to say, the moon is not the limit to the moon and beyond. Thank you.